I feel like starting in a supported bridge. How do you guys feel about that? Taking a block or two underneath your pelvis? For no reason except it feels like it would be a good idea. So let's do it. Come to lie down, put a block or both blocks underneath your pelvis, feet to the floor, knees bent, and close your eyes. And then let's place the hands on the hips. So put your hands face down on the sides of your pelvis. And before we settle into the stillness of it, let there be a little rocking. So like the tiniest cat cow. On an inhale, tip your pubic bone forward and feel how the low back arches too much. And you kind of feel like you're coming forward off of the block. And then on an exhale, lengthen the tailbone upwards so that you kind of come back to the front of the block. And it puts some more weight in your shoulders. And then just close the eyes, holding your pelvis. Go forward, go back, making the movements smaller and more subtle until you find a place that marries the two. So there's a piece of you tipping forward, there's a piece of you rocking back, and essentially your tailbone then lengthens across the block. You're not too far forward, you're not too far back. You're balanced. And then closing the eyes, feeling the weight of your palms on your hips. Find your 2 feet on the mat. Find the heels. And then go up and find your big toe mounds. Just kind of like you're drawing a line, like you're tracing a map on your feet. Go from the heels up to your big toe mounds. Then go around your foot to the outer edges of your feet, like below your pinky toes. And then go up to your pinky and ring toes. Find a diagonal to the middle of your feet, just the very arch middle. And then go back down to the heels, but find like the inner heels. Go up to the middle arch of your foot on the sides. Go around your foot to the outer edges towards the heels. And then go up to the top middle of your feet, like your middle toe and the mound of your middle toe. And feel like now you've mapped out the sole of your foot completely. Relaxing the muscles into bone, heavying the bone into the earth. Let there be length in the neck, relax the jaw. Let go of any tension in your glutes. My dog found a very loud toy, so I'm just gonna quietly move that out of the way. Stay where you are. Taking 10 more breaths here. If you want to extend your legs out in front of you, if that feels safe on your back, you can do so. Otherwise, just stay exactly as you are. Or maybe choose to lift your arms over your head if you want to make a change for this last minute and a half. Let's take 3 more breaths. One more full inhale. And long exhale. And then plant through your feet. If you extended your legs, return the feet to the floor. Reach your hands around for your block. Lift your hips up. Move your block out of the way. And like I'm pulling your pelvis forward, lower your hips back down. Good. And then bring your feet wide and let your knees knock in and relax. Let the musculature of your low back again relax. Bringing your hands once again to your body, maybe one to the belly, one to the heart, or both to the belly. Open your mouth, exhale completely. Seal your lips and inhale from the belly up all the way to full. And then open your mouth and exhale again, maybe making some noise. Seal your lips and again inhale bottom to top. Open up, exhale, let it go. One more time, deepest breath you've taken yet today, filling up all the way. Open mouth, exhale, release. Good. Seal your lips, breathe normally. Blink your eyes open and then turn to your side and make your way up to a seat. Good. Sit up nice and tall and plant your feet to the floor. This is the toy that I found that was noisy. There's a second exact same toy. How many of these do you have? Plant your feet to the floor with your knees bent. You can't play with that right now. Yeah. And then hands behind you and flex your right foot over your left thigh, like ankle to knee. And at first, just rock side to side. The hip stretch will deepen depending on how close your hips get to your left ankle. So just find what feels good for you. Yeah. And then hold still. Heel toe your left foot over to the right and then sit upwards in fire log pose or in a shoelace pose. So I'm just going to show you from the front. Right ankle exactly on top of your left knee. Right knee on top of your left ankle. And then sit up on something. Take a blanket or a bolster, something that you can tip your pubic bone forward upon. And have blocks or something for your head or hands in front of you. Yeah. Good. And then let's side bend it before we fold it forward. So reach your right arm out to the right. Take your left arm up and over your ear. Bend your left elbow and scoop up the back of your skull and just lean your head back into your palm and curl to turn your head and look under the left armpit. Lifting your left elbow up away from your left hip. Really nice, both of you. Josh, this hopefully getting into that QL muscle. So let's take another 5 breaths here. Good. And then re-extend your left arm up in the air. Find a little bit of a back bend, opening up the chest. And then exhale, reach your left arm forward and down to the floor on a diagonal. So reach your left hand on the floor to the right, towards like where your right knee is pointing. Yeah, and then you can walk your right arm down to the right as well and just reach to 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. And as you reach, tenting the fingertips, reaching forward, pull your hips backward in that exact opposite direction. Take 3 breaths. And then just look upwards and walk your hands back a little bit so you're higher. And then take the arms through center. Find whatever blocks you're going to use. You can put blocks under your hands and reach the arms forward, or put something under your forehead or chest. And then come down. You can also bring your elbows down to your block and put your head in your hands. Just coming straight forward out in front of you. And maybe you start somewhere and end somewhere else. So I'm going to start with my elbows down, but my head up. And then in another minute, I'll lower my head down. But you could do whatever feels right to you. And if you want to deepen the pose any amount now, you can. Maybe lowering your head further. Another 10 breaths. Three more. One more big breath in. And exhale out. Slowly look forward. You can crawl your way backwards to sit upright. Arms back behind you a little bit, lifting up through the chest. And then one leg at a time, extend them out into a V. Aren't going to stay in the V very long, just to unfold the legs for a moment. You can just keep the heels on the floor. And then turn towards the right side and lift your right arm over your ear, letting the left elbow come down. It's a little bit of movement here. Take a breath in. And then exhale, come up and go to the other side. Right arm down, left arm up. Breathing in. Breathing out. Up and over to the other side. And just keep going like this, not too fast, but in a rhythm with your breath. Once more right arm over, once more left arm over. And then sitting up tall. Bring your hands under your thighs, bend your knees. If you're on your blanket, just scooch forward off of it for a moment, and you can slide it out to the side. And then you're going to flex your left foot over your right thigh. I'm going to turn the hands to face the other way so the fingertips point back. Hips can be as far or as close to your right heel as you want the sensation. And just rock it side to side, easing into the joint. Also getting a nice little chest and shoulder stretch. And then holding it still, walk your right foot over to the left. And then drop the knees, sitting up tall in your shoelace. I'm gonna turn to face you again. Take your blanket or whatever it was underneath your pelvis and return it there so you can tip forward off of it rather than tucking the tail. You can hold the pelvis again and feel that sensation rocking forward and back until you know you're in a nice place. And then the left arm's going to reach out to the side. Right arm up and over your ear, bend the right elbow and scoop up the back of your skull in your hand. And you can kind of, with the left hand on the floor, turn the hand a little to the left so that the left shoulder turns away from your ear. And then pull your right elbow up and over to the left. Root your right hip down to the floor in opposition. Curl your head to turn and fit into the crook of your armpit there. And breathe into this sensation in your side body and in your back body. 3 more breaths. And we extend the right arm up, open it a little bit more, lean back a little bit more, and then reach the arm forward and down to the floor on the left. Like if this floor was a clock, to 10 o'clock. Both arms reaching to 10 o'clock in the direction of your left knee, maybe. And just tent the fingertips, reaching the arms forward, and pull your hips back in opposition. Find this tug of war. Relaxing the head and neck, but not so much that it detaches from the spine. It's just not cranked up either. It's just long and unwrinkled from front to back and from side to side. Feeling this across this right QL, that muscle that connects from the mid-back down to your leg. You can come up. Take 10 more breaths. One more inhale. And then exhale, look forward. Just walk your hands back a little bit so you're more upright. And we'll take the arms through center, replacing the props or whatever you want to bring in front of you. And then come down to your first point. So maybe you're just staying on your palms and leaning forward. Maybe you bring your elbows down to the floor or your blocks. Maybe you're putting something under your forehead. Take it step by step, stage by stage. And then if you want to lower your head down more or lower your block down a notch, go ahead. Working to let go of tension. I just caught myself really clenching the jaw. So Is there any place that you're still holding? 10 breaths. Last 3. One more inhale. And exhale. Take your time coming out of it. Look forward and crawl your way back up. Hands behind you, tented fingertips if you'd like. Just lifting to the center of your chest. Feel the right collarbone pull to the right and your left collarbone pull to the left. Maybe a little neck roll. And then you're going to open the legs up again to a straddle. If you want to turn to be long ways on your mat like I am, you can. The benefit of that is just having your heels on a surface that might not be your hard floor. So if you, like Erin's got a nice carpet there, so she's fine. But choose your destiny. Sitting up nice and tall. Again, find the pelvis tilting forward so that you're rooted in through the center, through the perineum. And then just lean forward any amount. Just find this first place. Close your eyes. And without me even cueing you, just every exhale, like there's a thread in the center of your chest down to the floor. Let every exhale take you closer to the ground. And that might mean you move so subtly that I can't see. That might mean by the time 3 minutes is over, your head is your pancake on the ground. So take it gradually, safely. Relax through the toes, relax through the ankles. Use whatever props you want under your forehead, chest, or hands. Again, maybe to the elbows if that's what felt good. But just feel yourself melting to the ground, the gravity taking you there, your body signaling to you how far it wants to go and when it's ready to. Taking your time. Eventually getting your head on something is a good idea so that you can release the weight of your skull. And that might mean building a bunch of blocks, so use your props. And where can you let go? Where can you even yourself out in the shoulders, in the glutes, in the breathing? As you're folded forward, feeling the breath rise and fall in the back body and your kidneys, inflating on the breath in and deflating on the breath out. Ten more breaths. Last 3 breaths. One more breath in. And out. So slowly start to wake yourself up out of it, looking up, peeling your chest to higher away from the ground, crawling the hands backward. And then hands behind you, lift up through the chest. Carefully pick the knees up, hands underneath them, plant the feet. You can come off of the blanket and just windshield wiper your knees side to side. So carefully let them go over to one side and then the other. Yeah. And I kind of lift the hip, like if I'm turning to the left, I kind of lift the right hip. If I'm turning to the right, I lift the left hip. It just feels nice in the spine for me. Yeah. And then slow that down and make your way onto all fours facing the front of your mat. Have your blocks and stuff nearby. Finding all fours. And then inhale to tilt the pubic bone forward, drop the belly, lift the chest. On your exhale, round the spine, press the floor away from you and dome the upper back. And send your hips back a little bit. And then inhale, come back to all fours with the shoulders over the wrists and find your cow pose. And then exhale for cat as you push the floor away and dome the upper back. Let the hips go towards the heels, but you don't go all the way to child's pose. And just keep rocking forward and back like that. So inhale, cow pose, nice structure of 90-degree angles. Exhale, you round the edges, bringing your hips backwards. One more time, inhaling. And exhaling. Good. Back to all fours. And then step your right foot forward into a lunge. Your hands framing the foot. I'm going to grab my second block here. And your hands are either going to stay on the floor or come up to blocks. If you have blocks, definitely use them. And we're going to do a dragon. Yeah. So just so you can see, right knee is definitely over the right ankle. Top of the left foot is down, pushing down through the pinky side edge of your left foot to wrap the left hip forward. Hands are on the ground, hips lean forward, but you push down through your feet and hands to lift proudly through the chest. Yeah, we're already in it. I'm going to map out the right foot, similarly to how we started. It's the magic square. So imagine that you're dividing your foot into 9 quadrants. 3 across the top, 3 across the middle, 3 across the bottom. Your whole foot from toes to heel. 9 quadrants, a square. Finding the center of the heel, the centum bottom of your foot. Push down through there. And then go up and over to your right big toe mound, to that big part of the ball of your foot. Go around to the pinky side edge of your foot, like the middle of the outer blade of your foot. And then go up to the pinky toe. Then find the center of your foot, the very center of the very arch of your foot. Go down to the left edge of your heel, so the inner heel, bottom foot. And then shoot right up to the middle arch of your foot, the inside of the foot. Go around again to the outer heel, that right side edge of your right heel. And then finish up to the top, middle, right below your middle toe, and push down, ending there. So you might feel re-energized when you do that. Like all of a sudden pushing down at the top middle toe kind of lifts your chest up. It pushes down through the foot more and you can hold the pose better. And let's just take 5 more breaths. One more breath in. And out. Softening through the thigh. Send your hips backward. Flex your right toe towards your face. Bend the elbows. You can sway your hips side to side. Getting a little hamstring stretch here. And then slowly, carefully slide your right knee backwards and bring your left foot forward for dragon on this side, going right into it. So carefully line up your left knee over your left heel. Bring your hands to the floor or blocks. Press down to the pinky side edge of your right foot. The hard shell of your right foot is down, and you're really trying to find that pinky side right edge to bring the right hip forward. Before we map out the foot, you're pushing down through both feet. You're pushing down through your hands and your chest is lifted, relaxing the shoulders down your spine. And then close your eyes and we'll do the magic square in the left foot. So again, divide it into 9, 3 across the top, 3 across the middle, 3 across the bottom. So I'm saying it's a square, but clearly our feet are more like rectangles. Just bear with me. Starting in the middle of the bottom of the heel. push down right there. Like if you were dividing your heel into 3 parts, left, middle, right, you're pushing down through the middle. And then go up to the big toe mound. So right below your left big toe, push down through there. Threading around to the outer edge of your left foot. Find the middle part of the blade of your foot. Then go up just under the pinky toe, the top of the blade of your foot. Threading across in a diagonal, find the middle of the arch of your foot, the very middle of your foot, the middle of the square. And then finish the diagonal to the bottom right part of the heel, so that inner part of the heel. Shoot up to the inner outer arch, so the inner foot, the very middle. And then go around to the outer heel, the outer left part of the heel, the bottom left. And finish just below your middle toe. Finding that new energy now as you push down the ball of your foot, still finding the pinky side edge of your right foot, still rooted through both feet, but this new potential in the ball of your foot might lift your chest up prouder. It might feel a little bit lighter in your legs. Just take 5 breaths. One more breath in. Out. Slowly softening through the front thigh. Hips go backwards, straightening out your left leg, getting into the hamstring, pulse the hips back. Maybe bending the elbows, shaking your hips side to side or your feet side to side. Good. And then slide your left knee back. And come to sit in a saddle pose, which is essentially Virasana. And Josh, this is how we finished your private the other day. So we're going to do it a reclined saddle. We're going to do a Supta Virasana. And Erin, I feel like we've done it before with a few variations of props and stuff. So I'm going to give a bunch of options. I'll also say that especially in a yin class, you do not have to have your knees together like I'm showing you from the front. It doesn't have to be this tight. In fact, it's much more accessible if you widen the knees and keep your toes together. But if you have your knees wide, you might be able to back bend a little bit safer for your back and still get the benefits. So with that said, knees can be as close together or as far apart as you want. Josh, the way we set it up the other day was 1 block for the shoulder blades, 1 block for the head. I think you might have had medium, or it's medium high. And then Erin, you will take your bolster and you're going to put your bolster on top of that. You can actually do it like this, Erin. But once you have whatever you're going to recline on, and again, see what it feels like maybe to have your knees wider. It might feel more accessible to go across. And then Erin, also have a blanket nearby if you want, so that even though you're reclined, you can also have a blanket that acts as a pillow for your head on top, like that, optional. And then before we recline, as we've been, hands behind you, lift proudly through the chest, and then lift your own hips up, guide them forward. I kind of tucked my tail. We're not trying to tuck the tail. We're just kind of pull the hips forward and then go down and crawl your way into it. Maybe the blocks and stuff is too far and you just kind of stay here. maybe you come down to your elbows, and this is where you're at. Maybe doing the elbows easily finds the blocks across the middle of your shoulder blades, and then the other block is behind your skull. So this is where I would stay, but I'm just going to look at you guys and make sure that you're all right. So I'm coming back up, but you stay where you are. Yeah. Erin, feel free to unmute and let me know what's going on, because this is a really intense pose, especially in the low back. You can stuff things in the low back, like blankets. You look good. You feel good? Yeah. And then you come into it so I can talk through the subtleties of it. So we're in a reclined saddle. This is as much for the front of your thighs as it is for your whole spine. But remember when before we came down, we lifted the hips up and pulled them forward? Can you still feel that sensation again? So that it's easy to just let the gravity drop your hips down, which really brings a back, an arch to your low back. But after time, it's not really sustainable to live in that arch. So what you can do, maybe by holding your pelvis, is feel again that lengthening of the tailbone forward. Not only will that help your low back, but that will light up the fire of the thighs. So it's a little effortful, but yin is a little effortful. If you were to just completely let go, you would be in a pretty big back bend, which is again okay, but maybe not sustainable for a long time. So engage a little bit, lengthen the tailbone forward, like you're picking your hips up and dragging them forward to your knees. And then you'll feel the front of your thighs stretching, and you'll feel a little bit safer in your low back. Any arms you want. Josh has got his over his head, which intensifies things a little bit. I have my hands down by my ankles. You can hold your hips. But close your eyes. This one is a biggie. So where can you stay focused and contained and purposeful? And where can you let go of the effort of trying to do much? One more breath. Last 3. One more breath in. And out. I'm going to come out the way we came in. So blinking the eyes open. First, maybe find your forearms, pushing down through the elbows and the palms. And then crawl your way into a traditional saddle with your knees together. Lean forward and tuck the toes and sit right back into it. So we're letting the spine decompress after being in the back one. We're just sitting up nice and tall, but that was a lot on the ankles. So now we're tucking the toes to open up the bottoms of the feet. And you can put something in between your seat and your heels if you would like. But we're just getting an opposite stretch into the feet, which is a good counter pose after that. Closing the eyes, feel the collarbones pull right and left. Breathing into the full rib cage, back to front, side to side. And then lean forward. Point your toes, tap them out. Cross the ankles just to sit. And then we'll set up for Shavasana. You can come onto your back if you would like. Otherwise, if you have this set up already, especially if you have the one with the bolster, it might be nice to take Shavasana like that. So I'm going to do that, but you can, of course, just lie on your mat. If you do have this set up, scoot your seat onto the floor just in front of the pillow and come to lie down. And I would suggest the legs just straight out, especially because we had them folded for quite a while. But if you'd rather do anything else, like feet together, knees apart, you can. Palms facing up, curling your fingertips towards the sky, receiving, sponging up the efforts. Letting the muscles melt into bone and letting the bones heavy into the earth. Really begin to deepen your breath. Wiggle through your hands and feet. Rock your head side to side. Maybe take a morning stretch. Arms over the head, toes forward. And then bend the knees wherever you are. Plant your feet. And roll to your left side. If you've got the bolster and everything behind you, you can either roll off of the props to the floor on your left side, or you can just turn to the left and let your ear rest on the bolster. This is your moon side as we re-enter the world through the lens of our yin practice, more grounded, fuller. And then use your top palm to make your way upright. Keeping the eyes heavy, sitting up nice and tall, one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Empty yourself of breath through the mouth. Seal your lips in just one more time together. Inhale from the belly all the way up to your deepest breath in. Open the mouth, exhale, let something out. Bowing forward as you're ready into your practice, into everything that it holds for you. Gratitude, devotion, prayer. Thank you.